What's up, everyone? Joe Gray here today with another AMA warm up. Today, I am joined by none other than my dude from Rep Fitness, Ryan. What's going on, man?
Glad to be here. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, it's been quite a few years. I think that you and I have talked back and forth. We've been on a couple of calls here and there, but we've never done anything like this before, so this should be fun. I remember when you guys and I think yourself were members of the bodybuilding equipment forums back
Oh,
in the day.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was you're
Uh,
digging way back.
I had Adam on, I think it was last month. We were talking about that too. Taking a trip down memory lane. I remember when you guys first kind of pitched the idea of making your own plates, and it ended up being your equalizer plates. And the forums were, going back and forth on giving you feedback on the design and all kinds of things. And so, yeah, that's I think personally that's one of the pieces that has always separated you guys is the actual like community involvement. You're actually really engaged, and I remember that from years back. So always very cool to see the transition from some random dude who was pestering people on the forums to now you guys are who you are today. So very cool.
Yeah. No, the bodybuilding forum was great. I mean, there was just like the interaction with the community there, the
Yeah,
number of people that just were super passionate about
yeah,
equipment that knew way more than me or my brother knew anything about all the questions we asked. Like, I mean, it was a treasure trove of information.
yep,
And then, yeah, you mentioned the plates. That was like we essentially like crowdsourced the idea for what do we need, what kind of plate doesn't exist, and
yep,
then that was a design that I just literally drew on a piece of paper, and yeah, eventually, we're manufacturing those still today. So that was like,
yep,
yeah, straight from the bodybuilding forum.
yep. Very cool. All right, man. So, our very first question for you, we typically jump right into this, is who are you and why are you here?
Ryan McGrady, co-founder and co-CEO of Rep Fitness. And here because I just love the give and take with the community, always have, always will. So yeah, want to share information about where we're headed as a company, what products we're coming out with. That's what people always want to know is like what's coming out next.
Yep.
And then yeah, receive the feedback because we always hear good feedback, whether it's good or bad, and it helps guide the direction of the company. So yeah, it's always a great time.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, number two, tell me about your lifting experience. So, before you were on the bodybuilding forums, what were you doing? What did lifting look like? What's it look like today for you?
Yeah, so our dad had one of those multi gyms, like there's three or four stacks and yeah, just sitting in the basement. So he would lift occasionally. I don't think he was like super passionate about it, but like he lifted enough that he was reasonably strong fit. And we were always into Arnold movies.
Yeah.
So it was like anything Arnold Schwarzenegger, we were watching the movies. So, but still wasn't really lifting that much because like the sports I did, I was always really skinny growing up. And the sports I played, it really didn't require you to be super strong. It was soccer, it was tennis, golf, stuff like
Sure.
that. Um, did baseball early on, but not long enough to like, get back in the gym. So like it wasn't really till I was 17 that I got in the gym with one of my buddies. I was skinny, he was fat. We both wanted to change that. So it was like we both got to the gym regularly and bought Arnold's Encyclopedia of Modern
Yep.
Bodybuilding. So, tried to make gains with that, which like the first couple months were amazing. And then after that, it was like, we got to figure something out. So yeah, after that, I kind of just did what I think a lot of people do, which is kind of just screw around in the gym. Like you try a
Yep.
routine, you read something in a magazine, you do an 8 week thing, and then whether it works, doesn't work, you just kind of bounce around. So it wasn't really until I got to law school and my brother was an undergrad, and then we watched the movie The 300, and we are
Mm-hmm.
like, what are these guys doing? Because they're all
Ah.
just jacked and shredded
Yeah.
and it was basically they were doing like CrossFit. They,
Yeah.
you know, obviously did a ton of lifting before that, but they sold it as like CrossFit was what
Yeah.
got us in shape. So, yeah, CrossFit like from 2006, I'm still doing a mixture of CrossFit and other training. So, you basically right now 3 days of CrossFit, and then 3 days actually these days doing cardio because I want to try to boost my VO2 max. So I'm like, I've been getting it more into like the health span stuff, like the Peter Attia, like where do you like you need a certain amount of muscle mass, but then you want your VO2 max up.
Yeah.
So my training's around really just being injury free and being able to just enjoy life and do the things I want to do that allow me to continue to not have any limits. So in the CrossFit gym I go to, it's like people, still poo-poo CrossFit, but like there's different flavors of CrossFit and like
Yep.
our gym, which I think probably does similar to a lot of them where we do actually strength cycles. So like right now we're on an 8 week strength cycle where it's like Monday is deadlift, Wednesday is overhead press, and Friday is squat. And it's progression of like maybe you're trying to do like a max set of eight and then
Sure.
a five and a three, and eventually you're going to get down to like a, one rep max. So it's like there's still a good amount of strength training.
Yep. Yeah. A buddy of mine uh, coached at a CrossFit gym for a while, and him and I would have conversations back and forth about that, like difference, right? You got the ones who all they do is they run the wads, and that's it, and that might be a good workout, but there's no like progression model built in. There's no like end goal other than just to work out, which can work for some people, but a lot of times you, like you were mentioning earlier, you hit a wall, right? If you don't do the same thing consistently for any length of time, it's really hard to get better. You have to do like a 4 week block or an 8 week block or something to move the needle. We've got some girls who come over. My daughter's 8 and lift in our garage on Sundays from her soccer team and stuff like that. And I've told a few of the parents, I'm like, hey, look, I've got all this fancy stuff. We're going to use almost none of it with the girls. Because all I got to do is I need them to goblet squat. I need them to, learn how to deadlift of some kind, some type of hinge. We're going to do some rows. We're going to do some push ups, maybe a weighted carry. Like, nothing's going to get too crazy, right? And I'm like, and they're only working out 1 day a week. So we really don't, like, I'm just going to keep moving the needle. Like, we're going to add a pound or two every week or a rep every week or something. And that's it. It doesn't have to get flashy. And so, but the same concept of like, if I give them a completely different workout every single week, or even worse, some of the WOD stuff like every single day, they'd be confused, and then that's how they don't get any better. And so, yeah, there's definitely I've seen over the years a difference between the level of maybe it's maturity in some of the CrossFit gyms of do they understand CrossFit isn't stuck on WODs, but is just a broader sense of developing all the human performance aspects. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's still like, the general physical preparedness is the
yep,
idea, but like to your point, you got to do some strength progressions, the
yep,
same lifts. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like PR'd my deadlift like a couple months ago, actually. So it's
nice,
like, because I never, like I said, early my younger days, I wasn't really training correctly and
yep,
whatnot. And lately it's been just actually really getting like the amount of protein I need,
yeah,
which I mean, like I kind of always knew like, yeah, you generally need a good amount of protein, but it's like not really until you really pay attention. I mean, you got to
sure,
like really pay attention to
yeah,
protein. I didn't realize that until kind of late in the game. And but I mean, it's like I'm still making gains and enjoying it, so it's fun.
yeah, nice. All right, man. So, what's reps kind of involvement in the home gym community? That's your guys' still primary kind of target customer base, is that right?
Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, like you said, the bodybuilding forums is the early days. Also early days was when, I mean, just in the local community here, we opened our retail store in the first few years of business, and it was just me and my brother manning the store. And I mean, we were catering primarily to people who were into CrossFit, into strength training, and they wanted to start being able to do it at home because they were like new
Mm.
parents, tougher to get in the gym.
Yep.
So we really saw a market for that and really started to specialize in that home gym community, knowing that there was a need for really durable equipment that you could do the type of CrossFit workouts, this basic strength training stuff, Olympic lifting, and be able to do that at home. So yeah, eventually the bodybuilding forum kind of got less popular, and then it was Reddit and the Facebook groups and Instagram to a lesser extent.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's where we started and where we're at today.
Are you guys so because you guys are starting to make some kind of more commercial y type things? Do you have an idea that maybe at some point you'd see rep alongside, hammer strength and stuff like that in like a 24-hour fitness or whatever? Or is it is that a thought process, or are you kind of staying maybe over on this side a little bit different?
Yeah, we're looking at it as there's a lot of crossover between the types of products that a high-end home gym gets and a nice commercial facility gets
Sure.
on the strength and conditioning side. On the really big, like, selectorized machines and some of the really super high-end expensive cardio pieces, that's not really an area we want to go in, at least for right now. That's
Sure.
not on the agenda. So where there's crossover though, like there's some nice dual dual selectorized machines that
Yep.
like lat pull down and low row, for
Yep.
example. The Adonis has the pull down and the functional trainer column. So where it's like there's crossover opportunity like that, we're for sure still going to go in that direction where we can offer something really nice for an awesome value.
Cool. And then I'm assuming a lot of those pieces too, you're looking at like the kind of the um, like high end, not necessarily a home gym, but like personal studio, right? Kind of thing. So maybe a dude trains two or three people or something like that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the idea with, I mean, even something like the Aries, for example, that's great in a home gym with just one person, but then also if you're training clients, it's got the dual stacks where they can work independently off of it. So just depending on your space constraints, that's one of the guiding principles of how we develop products is trying to make it as space saving and multifunction as possible without compromising how it actually is supposed to perform or
sure.
whatever machine it's supposed to take the place of. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Only other question on that one is does the gym that you go to have rep equipment?
Yeah.
All
Well, let me preface this. So this
right.
is actually kind of a funny, sad story. Like, 'cause we have an employee gym here. It's about 6,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So all the employees here, have access to it. We do Tuesday team workouts and push some people through some suffering. And the gym I go to for CrossFit, they've been around for like 8 years. And so they actually contacted me in the early days and we sold them like a gym full of equipment.
Yeah.
But then we moved locations and our inventory management and just overall business was so horribly organized that we had already sold all the equipment for their gym. And like we didn't even have stock. So then they had to go with like a competitor. The
Yeah.
competitor's now out of business, but now he continuously like adds new stuff. But it's still like a daily reminder of like, yeah, I'm using this old crappy barbell from this other company because we need to sell our bar. Yeah. So anyways,
Yeah, yeah. You gotta make some mistakes before you hit the home runs, right? So,
lots of mistakes. Yeah.
yeah. I tell people with my training, I go, I've probably done more wrong than right over the years. The only thing I know I've done correctly is I continue to show up. That's it,
Yep.
right? I've been
Yep.
lifting since I've been like about 18 or so. I'm like 38 now, I think is the correct number. I always forget. And so, yeah, over that like 20 years, literally the only thing I know I did correctly was I'm still here. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. All right. Next question for you. What makes rep different? So what differentiates you guys from everybody else?
So it definitely starts with the people here, and I know that's kind of like the generic answer a lot of people would give, but when it's true, it actually matters. And that goes to the culture that we've built here, which is in the early days, we said, look, we're only hiring people that are really passionate about what we do here. We don't want people that just show up, they clock in and they want a paycheck. Like they're not going to stay. They're going to, there's no loyalty and there's no passion for what we do. So they're
Yep.
not really going to care about the products that we make here. And so, before we started recording, we were talking about like that's sometimes not a recipe for success when
Yep.
companies are founded or just have a lot of people involved that don't really
Yep.
care about what they're making. And I think that goes for any company, but especially for gym equipment. I mean, one of the things is like we've been manufacturing overseas for quite a while, and the quality that you get from some of the factories, like the perception of manufacturing over there, it being negative is partly because a lot of the factories don't have any idea what they're making.
Yeah.
Like it's a widget to them. So
Yep.
like if you're not designing the product and being really dialed in on the quality side, and you're just relying on the factory to just make something for you,
Yep.
you're not going to make something that's really going to stand out in the market.
Yep.
So in the early days, we made a lot of these mistakes. I mean, early days, we were just buying off the shelf, or we'd
Sure.
make small tweaks to things. But we've been lucky enough that we made enough smart changes to the product and worked with good enough factories that we grew our reputation to be able to hire really talented product people, product
Sure.
and quality people. So now like our engineering and quality team, that's over 30, 40 people now. We've got, product design engineers, we've got the quality engineers, we've got industrial design engineers. So it's just up and down the line, you've got people who are super, super talented and passionate about making awesome product here. And then as we've scaled up, we've been able to work with better and better factories. So, I mean, the factories we're working with now, like if you went in there, that's something I hope we can give a little bit more behind the scenes look for people in the future because it is really cool. Like there's now we're talking about in the early days, yeah, maybe it was like a small percentage was robotic welding and most of it was manual. Now we're working with factories that are 100% robotic welding.
Hmm.
So you're talking about robotic laser cutting, robotic welding, robotic painting, and then even on the packaging line, it's computer like robot vision looking at to make sure you've packed everything up. Hey, and there's my brother Shane in the background
Mm.
doing the AMA intro video. So anyway, say hi to people on Reddit.
What's up, people on Reddit?
Yeah, I've had to work with this guy for 13 years, but
Uh,
we haven't killed each other yet.
yeah.
So but yes, I mean, I think that's like when I see some of the conversations about like, this product's made in China, this product's made in the US,
Yeah.
there is a gigantic spectrum
Yeah.
within that of like the level of product design and quality that you're going to get. And so I think that's become more and more apparent for people as they've seen the things that we've come out with. So, but yeah, it all goes back to the people and the team that we've built here and the culture and the passion for fitness.
Nice. I'll give two examples on my end, one bad and one good. Okay, so the bad one is we just got a treadmill in to test, and so we don't have a lot of dedicated space for cardio and stuff, so we wanted one that kind of folded up and stored away. So it stores up vertically, the screen folds, all these different things. Um, they include because it stores up, you need something so it doesn't flip over, right? So it's got these little like I forget what the word I'm looking for, like anti tilt like blocks
Mhm.
that come out,
Yeah.
right? Well, the problem is that the wheels are on this side, so you've got it tilted, right, and you wheel it up to the wall, so it's against the wall like this, and the anti tilt pieces are right here, so they butt up against the wall, so it can still tilt and fall on you
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
of the wall. So it took us like 4 seconds to realize that, right? We unpackaged it. I moved it inside. I put it where it was supposed to go, and I went, oh, that's backwards. That doesn't make any sense. And so I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, am I supposed to turn it around completely every single time I want to use it to butt it up against the wall to put those there and then do it? And it's like a 250-pound treadmill. Like I'm a big dude. That's a pain in the butt. So I'm like, somebody had an idea, but really, really didn't understand what they were trying to accomplish with that idea, and it failed miserably. And somehow it's in a production unit that's been out for, I think, a year or two or something like that. And I'm like, that is just wild. Like, so, yeah. And then, so the flip to that is the handful of things I've gotten from you guys recently, the Nighthawk, the Pegasus, a couple of stuff, is you can notice the small details of like somebody actually used this, right? And went, well, that's annoying. I don't want it to do that, right? I know the one that people caught on the Pegasus all the time is the hole adapter for the mag pin. And so you pull it off, and instead of having to go, where do I put this thing and put it up there and then put it in and then re-grab it. You just put a hole so it holds it until you're ready to use it. It's such a small detail, but when you see it, you're like, well, duh, that's how it should be, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, so big difference in somebody who actually lifts, actually uses the stuff, walked through before it was mass produced and handed off to someone to make a final version, said, hey, this sucks. Can we fix that? And then did. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that we've just, oh, excuse me, gotten better at over the years. I mean, even just today, we've got, for example, the upcoming air bike that we've got with
yep,
the adjustable resistance. We've got a sample in the back. It's pre-production sample, and the guy on our team that wrote the instruction manual, because that's another thing, we write our own
that's
instruction
very,
manuals, so it's
yeah,
in
that's
English and
that guy should make millions of
right,
dollars if he's good
right.
at it because that is such a
So
hard thing to do.
So he's back there, and then he's also with some of our people on the CS team. Basically, we do the test of okay, it makes sense to the guy who wrote it in the engineering team.
Yep,
What is the average person
yep,
experience when they're reading this manual? Can they put this thing together?
yep,
So that's what they're doing today. They're just putting it together and saying, hey, does this still make sense? It's still easy.
yep,
But it's the type of stuff that like you appreciate when you experience it because it's like it's weirdly rare.
yes,
You're used to an instruction manual. It's in poor English, doesn't make any sense.
yep.
Maybe he's missing a step. That's the usual. So
Yeah, yeah. Even like when I assembled the Nighthawk, the simple piece of you guys put the sticker on the back of the pad and was like, "Hey, this is the orientation, right? This is the back of the pad. This is the front of the pad." Like, because I've done, I don't know how many times I've assembled equipment, and you make one small error, and then you're 15 steps in, and you go, "Shit." And then
yeah,
now you got to undo 25 different bolts to then do that one thing differently.
yeah,
And so, yeah, it's that's how. So going back to my past life in corporate America, when we would develop our learnings for people, so our HR stuff, that's what you would develop it, and then you'd hand it to the guy next to you and go, hey, you don't know anything about this topic, right? No. Okay, you're taking it. And then they'd come back and they go, I didn't know what this was. That doesn't make any sense. What's this? And at first you're like, dude, come on, right? But then you go, okay, well, if you don't get it, then 1,000 other people don't get it. And so, yeah, so
yeah. No, that sticker on the pad, that's like the exact type of thing that would probably happen in this process.
yep.
They'd be like, "Oh, you put it in upside down. Oh, we didn't realize you could even do that. All right,
Yep.
let's put a sticker."
What is it? 1,000 monkeys, 1,000 typewriters, and they'll write Shakespeare
Yeah.
or something like that, right? So,
Mhm.
yep, yeah. There's a level of like you gotta expect people know some things, like the wheels have to go where the wheels go because there's no other place to put them or whatever. But little stuff like that, like I said, is very helpful. I've assembled quite a bit of gym equipment in my existence, especially in the last couple of years, and I rarely 100% nail it. There's always a bolt wrong or this thing wrong, and sometimes the worst part is you end up stripping stuff. So you
Yeah.
try and put this bolt in that hole or whatever, and you're like, why won't it go in? And then and there it goes, and then now you got to contact customer service and go, I don't. it broke. Like I need another one. I had one that I had to take my sawzall to because it stripped a threaded bolt in a pad, and now it's stuck between the pad and the metal, and there's nothing I can do. And yeah, so yeah, those little details to me show that you actually went through the process and understand. We'll say normal people, right? So yeah,
We're trying our best. We continuously evolve, and yeah, the team is like paying attention to feedback. So when they see somebody saying like, "Oh, this was a big pain in the butt to assemble," like they pay attention. Like from the Aries 1 to the Aries 2, they were really thrilled that people noticed it was a lot easier to put together.
cool. I like it. All right, man. Last one for us today, huh? We'll wrap it up with tell me one reason why people should be excited about your upcoming AMA.
So we always bring the heat with product releases at the near the end of the year. This year is no exception. So there's going to be some really cool product previews. So we'll have some exclusive videos behind the scenes of a bunch of new stuff, including things that we haven't shown anywhere else yet. So there'll be some really cool product announcements.
Cool. Typically, Rep does a pretty nice giveaway as well. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
that's
that
just
will be
standard.
there. Yeah. Okay.
That's just
Cool.
assumed. That's just assumed. Come on, you
you,
got to
you,
bribe people, right?
you don't have
Yeah,
to announce that one. That's
yeah,
just happening.
yeah, of
So I
course.
like it.
Yeah, of course.
All right. And then, as always, you get the chance to pick the brain of the people behind one of everybody's favorite companies, ask questions, learn new stuff, maybe give them some ideas, maybe complain about the installation of something so they can fix it for everybody else, all that good stuff. So,
Yeah.
all right, man, anything else to wrap us up before I take us home?
No, appreciate it. Really looking forward to it, and we'll see you online here soon.
Cool. All right. So, down in the description, I will have details on when the AMA is, links out to find more information on Rep and all that good stuff. That way, you can come on over, maybe win something cool, learn about all the new things coming your way in the home gym community, and chat with all the cool people at Rep. That's it, my man. Thanks for your time today. We'll chat soon.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
See ya.